So today we'll be discussing about friend functions. So before discussing about friend functions, there's an important concept that you should know, and that is data encapsulation. The formal definition of data encapsulation goes like this. Data encapsulation means binding up of data items together with functions. So binding up of data items together with functions into a single unit is called encapsulation. Now, this was the formal definition, but what do you mean by data encapsulation? So in simple terms, data encapsulation means that the private data members of a particular class can only be accessed by the private member functions of that particular class. So this is data encapsulation. With the help of a program, we'll be able to understand more. So let's see. Now in this window, I have created a class employee. This is our class employee. Okay. In this class employee, there are three data members. These three: employee ID, income, and name. Employee ID and income are of type integer, and the name is of string type. Now these three data members are private. How do I know these data members are private? Look, the default access specifier of a class is private. So I have not written anything about this int employee ID. So by default, these three would be private data members. Here I have written public. So below public, everything would be of the public access specifier. That is, these two can be accessed outside the class. Okay. So in this public region, we have specified two functions, get and display. This one is the get function, and this one is display function. Okay. So these two functions, this get and display, these two functions can only access these three private data members. This is called encapsulation, and this is the basic principle of object-oriented programming. Class implements this feature. So these three cannot be accessed outside this particular class. If you have to access outside this particular class, you have to access it by using functions. So see here, in the main function, we have used get to access these three data members. Okay. So this is what encapsulation is. Now let us briefly see what this program is going to do. So basically I have created this program which will calculate the tax of a particular employee based on his income. So for that I have defined class. The class definition goes here. Okay, the class definition goes here. It consists of employee ID, income, name, and two functions. The get function is used to get the input from the user. You can see I have used cout cin here, enter employee details, and these details are then put into employee ID, name, and income. And the display function, it is going to display the details that are being fetched from the user. So you can see here I have used cout. So this is a pretty simple function. And now in the main function, in this function, I have created an object of employee class, and by using get function, by using this e.get function, I have fetched the data from the user to this particular data members, right? And this e.display would be used to display the data of this particular object e. Now here I have used calculate tax function. Now you should pay attention here. This calculate tax function, I have defined it here. What it is doing is it is calculating tax. For simplicity, I have taken the tax to be 20% of the income. So here I have multiplied the income with 20 and divided it by 100. So this would be tax. For simplicity terms, I have used this particular calculation. Okay, now see, this is a function. Now this function, does it belong to this employee class? No, because I have not specified it inside the class. The definition is not inside the class. I have written it outside the class. And now see what I'm doing here. I'm accessing the private member, e.income. Okay, this private member here in this particular function. So what is happening is this concept of data encapsulation is being used here. That is, the outside classes cannot use this, cannot access this private data members. So we'll see this. When we'll run this program, there will be an error that the function has tried to access a private data member. Let's see. Let's run this program and see what the error comes. Just wait for a while. Oh no, it will be done. Look, now this is the error. What error is coming? The error is in line 4717. 4717. Here is the error. Okay, so the error is income data member, which is of the type integer, this employee class is private within this context. Within this context means in the calculate scope, in the calculate tax scope, this particular income cannot be accessed. Now see what it is written here. Note, declared private here. This is declared private here in this 14th line, end income. So this is declared private there. So calculate tax function cannot access this particular data member. This is what error has come. Now to remove this error, we can use friend function. Now what is the concept of friend function? Here friend function is used to access private data members of a class outside the class. What friend function does? Friend function is used to access private data members of a particular class outside the class. For example, if this void calculate tax function, this function cannot use, currently this is not used, and this is not able to access the income private member. But if we define this calculate tax as friend function of employee class, then we will be able to access this private members, private data members. So let's do this thing. We have to do just one thing. We have to just add friend function declaration in this particular employee class. So what I would do is, this is the declaration of calculate tax. I will cut it from here and paste it here. Now, whenever you have to define a particular function as a friend function, you just have to write the keyword friend in front of the function. Now, when you write this friend in function in front of the function declaration, then this particular function becomes the friend of the particular class in which you have declared the function. Now this calculate tax function has become a friend function of this particular employee class. Now this calculate tax function is able to access the private data members of this particular employee class. So let's see after compilation if the error comes. Look, no error has come. So it is asking us for employee details. Let us give them. input. So I've given one more one as employee ID. Okay. Name, let us give Adam. Income, let's give 3 lakhs. Okay. Now look, the employee details have come. 101, add 3,000, and the tax is also coming. Just 20% of this 3 lakhs. 60,000 is tax. So now we are able to access the private data members in the calculate tax function. So this is what friend function is. So this was just an introduction to a friend function. Now there are some of the important things that you need to understand about friend function. A friend function can be a friend of more than one class. So another example is there which will demonstrate this concept. Look, here I have created a class employee. This is the same class. Now plus this employee class, I have also created this businessman class. And in both of the class, see here income is there. Here also income of the businessman is there. Just the data members have changed, that is GSTN has come in place of employee ID and rest is same. Now I want to compare the income of this employee and this businessman. I want to compare the income of this employee and the businessman. But in this scenario, I cannot define the compare function in both of the class. Why? Because I have to have the objects of both of this employee and businessman to compare. I want both objects, both classes objects, then only I can compare this thing. So what I have done is I have created a function compare income where I have taken as parameter employee object and and the second parameter business object. And then I have compared the income and said if income of employee is more, I have just shown the output that employee's income is greater, else businessman's income is greater. So this is what I have done. So let's see briefly what this program do. This particular is the definition of employee class, right? It is the same as in the previous example. This is the definition of businessman class. This is also same, just in place of employee ID we have put GST ID, okay, GSTN, the GST number, right? And the get and display function are the same. Get is used to get the details of the businessmen, that is name, income and GSTN, and display is used to show those details, right? Now here I have used void compare income employee E and businessman B. Now this compare income is outside the definition of both the classes, so this would not be able to access the private members, so the error should come. Let's see what error comes if we run this program. See, the same error has come. Income of type int, income of type int in employee class is private within this context, that is it is private and it cannot be used here. The same has come in income of businessman. The error is there. So what is the solution to this problem? You have to define friend or the function compare income as friend of both the class. So here I would be doing the same. I have copied this, put it here, made this a friend, right? Yes, also I'll make this function a friend of employee class. Look, in the class employee, I have made this function friend. Also here also I have made this function friend in the businessman class, right? So now, if everything is fine, this program should run without error. Now see what it is saying. It is saying businessman has not been declared here. Okay, so to use businessman here, look, the error is in line 34. So see, till, I'll explain this error. So till this point, businessman class has not been defined. It is defined after this line number 34. So the compiler doesn't know what the businessman is. So we have to just specify that there is a class which is of the name businessman, right? Now the error should not come. Look, it is running fine. Employee ID, let us do 101. Name is Adam. Salary or income is 40,000. Okay. Now businessman GST ID is 234. GST ID is 234. I'll just put it here. Name is let us put it to be Eve. Okay. And income is about 4,000. See, employee income is greater. The program is running fine. So this was the concept of friend function. We have seen that friend function can be friend of more than 2 classes, and friend function is used to access the private data members of a class outside the class. Okay, so this was what friend function was all about. Thank you.